Crypto Cave. I would like to apologize for my yesterday's intro. No,
how nice of you.
No, I don't actually. Just kidding. Bye.
Yo, what the fuck was that? We did not talk about that. Well. Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. Thank you all the Z's birds as we do get ready for a nice little Friday. Actually, a lot of things going on today, not just CME closure for the weekly, but also 2-day and 3-day closure for Bitcoin price action as well on spot. So with that said, we have plenty to discuss, and let's go into the Krown Chain application, which we found at app.krown.net. And yes, we are indeed late. Randy, where are you? Holy shit. There's a lot of people in here right now. God damn, man. Hey, good morning to everyone as we get this one underway. And as you can see, the weather's switched up around, and it is no longer bright outside. It's nice and dark in here, like a good old cave, exactly how it should be. Anyways, into the Krown Chain application we go, which can be found at app.krown.net. It is, by the way, 100% free, and it offers up the most free data for all quant statistics that we can find, and we'll probably be adding more soon enough anyways. So with that said, what do we see? We do see Bitcoin dominance continue with the uptrend, still more or less sideways, but I do still look for this to take a nice little leggy up. And on top of that, we do see Fear and Greed Index actually taking a nice pop up from yesterday to today as well, all the way actually doubling from a little bit more than doubling from 10 to 21, which you would expect as Bitcoin essentially does complete the short-term time frame bear trap, as we did discuss a couple days ago. That was likely, and now just kind of following through on top of that. Anyways, other than that, I think we really need to go into the market data tab because there is actually several things to be speaking about and aware of today. The biggest one to me is a global open interest. So looking at the current price action and aligning it with the open interest read, which we did see drop off about actually more than $1 billion. It literally dropped a little bit more than $1 billion. From yesterday to today. And what would that suggest is Bitcoin does essentially put in that nice little bear trap. Well, it's essentially shorts taking profits. So typically speaking, if you are going to be looking at markets and kind of judging, when your next major reversal is going to happen, very, very rarely do they happen at, off of shorts closing. Typically speaking, it can produce a little bit of an upside move, an upside momentum. But at the end of the day, I still do believe that we are strongly within a ranging market. There hasn't been anything too crazy that's happened over the past 2.5 months, quite literally, on the higher term timeframes, although there has been several opportunities, of course, on the lower term timeframes. But again, understand where we are within the grand scheme of things, because that actually does matter quite a fair bit if you are especially more long-term minded person. So don't think that we have a resolution on this anytime soon, or, well, if you want to be bullish anytime soon. If you're bearish, probably very, very soon in that case. But with the way that price action is looking right now, I don't think that that's what's happening, to be quite honest with you. I think that we are still ranging, and resolution is still to be had, probably not until August. Anyways, what do we see as far as the global funding rate goes? We do still see negative rates, and it's been consistently negative for the most part on average going over the last 2.5 months now. So shorts are essentially bleeding as Bitcoin price action really hasn't been giving them the big bad move that I think a lot of people have been looking for. Everyone's not everyone, but big bear odds or what, or how should I describe this? Bear odds. Yeah, let's just call it that. Bear odds. Looking for 20,000, 15,000, 10,000. I've seen all these targets, and they can definitely be very, very viable, yes. But at the end of the day, this is very, very reminiscent. If you remember back to 2018, where even if you're early, you're fucking wrong, right? You're gonna have to eat up all these, typically nice upside moves, which are very much tradable as well. What's up, Allie? There she is, in before Scott Carney. Holy fuck, Allie's there. Good happy Friday to you as well. You must be Australian, because Australian girls are actually some of the most chill people, I think. Anyways, what else do we see? We do see global exchanges net flows actually positive once again, which does suggest that we do see a little bit of inflows into exchanges, a little bit more to sell, but it's really not anything too crazy right now. The big bad one happened already, and that was July. Wait, actually, no, that was July. Which one is this one right here? July 19th, I believe it was, where we had actually almost 29,000 Bitcoin being flown to exchanges, and that's to obviously leverage more shitcoins, right? Anyways, over here, we also do see that the rail ratio has somewhat gone up as well. Not anything too crazy right now, but something that I would like to keep a keen eye on. And then more importantly, hash rate is slowly and very sluggishly picking itself up as well. So it would be a good idea to check out, of course, the hash rate indicator today. But other than that, GBTC holdings are more or less consistent, more or less steady. And I do suspect that that's going to have a big interplay as well, as we do see a lot of price action kind of spun about by the GBTC major unlock dates. Anyways, with that said, let's go into the price action charts right now as we do a look and follow up on the short-term timeframes. I did come back yesterday. Oh, there he is. Wait, Scott Barney. Holy fuck. Wait, what is going on right now? This is inception of inception. We got Scott Carney and Scott Barney. Who is who? Can the real Scott stand up? What is going on right now? Anyways, so following up on yesterday's short-term time frame analysis, I came back on, I did obviously a live stream yesterday morning, and then I did a shorts video a little bit later, and we documented this little short-term time frame ascending triangle right here, which did get resolved a little bit right after the stream ended completed essentially, and that did have a measure move basically right around our prior high, the spike high that we saw on July 21st, right around the B word conference, right? And actually, have we taken out that high just yet? No, we have not. We're just grinding up at this region, so it had the measure move has been hit. And do I suspect that there could be more on top of this? Yes, we're going to talk about what I'd be looking for general continuation soon enough, but more importantly, let's just kind of go over the short-term timeframes right now. We do still see actually on hourly RSI another drive of hidden bullish divergence. We documented this one just yesterday, and now we're getting yet again another drive into the bullish control zone, which is generally good for the short-term timeframes. And for whatever it's worth, like, you know, the hourly timeframes actually been really, really good recently. A lot of opportunities been had on it, and I suspect that, well, it's still a generally good driver. On top of that, hourly jewel still kind of increasing on the upside momentum, which is more or less fine, alongside increasing volatility. So all these things kind of support each other, but still at the end of the day, we need to see something a little bit more, or at least for myself, I need to see something a little bit more tangible in order to look for the next, you know, somewhat interesting move. In this case, I would be targeting a move back up a little bit north of $34,000, maybe anywhere between about 34,250 to 34,500-ish region. And I'd be looking at this as one of a few ways, of which I'll give you the most most aggressive way right now, but the least dependable, yeah, we'll put it that way. And that would be quite simply just taking out the prior high that we saw on the 21st of July right here. If we do see that level taken out, just by ticking above it, it doesn't matter what time frame, just to tick above there would be good enough, which is currently at 32,828 and a half. We did get up to about we got up to about 32.8 in the early morning hours, but then I would be looking for a move somewhere right around the 200 exponential average on the 4-hour time frame right here, which is going to be coming down somewhere around about 33.4, 33.5, and I generally would be looking for a continuation to the upside to that next $34,250 to $34,500 level. Basically, our last lower daily high, actually, if you do remember back from a couple of weeks ago on the 12th of July right here. On top of that, I would say that that is more or less my main disposition right now. Again, assuming that Bitcoin essentially just remains above the last hourly high or low. In fact, in this case, I'd actually not use the last hourly high or low. I'd use the same one as yesterday, 31,800 as well, just because things are a little bit tight wound right here, and things are mostly going to move, I imagine, relatively fast if we do break out of this region in the short term, that is. Anyways, going on to our 4-hour time frame, we do see that 4-hour RSI is reaching into the bullish control zone for the first time in quite some time. But it's really been kind of allergic to it for actually like a month now. The last time that we even saw a somewhat consistent stint within it was actually going all the way back to June 13th, so certainly more than a month ago, about a month and a half ago now. And it's been a very, very long time since we've actually even been, just magnetized within it. Unfortunately, it looks like a lot of price action being accumulated in the bearish control zone right there. So I do still kind of hold my reservations with this, but more importantly with this, I would say that it does still align with, perhaps another little short-term continuation drive here. But here's what would supersede everything else for me. Here's what I feel a lot more confident with, and here's what would make me target at the very least to move to about 34.5, somewhere around there over the next, I don't know, half week or so, like 3-4 days. And it would be this. We do have, again, the 2-day and 3-day closing today alongside the weekly 4 CME. And what do we see? We do see on the 2-day that bullish divergence is going to be available if we do close basically anywhere above 32.5 or so, anywhere above the last 2-day closure, that is. And we'd have 1, 2, 3 drives coming off the lows, and this would be also rejection of the bearish control zone. All of these things kind of operating with each other and would essentially imply a move up to the 21 on this time frame, which is actually about that 34,300-ish level right there, with potential for more, of course, too. But I would just say that that would be, the first sort of move that I'd be looking for over the next, 48 hours. Again, assuming that condition is met. Now, the 3-day, obviously a little bit more powerful of a time frame, as it is slightly a higher time frame than this. We actually do see the same sort of thing somewhat available again on tonight's closure, 1, 2 drives of bullish divergence. And while we do have the easy portion of that move already there, that actually drive targets a little bit higher. In fact, somewhere around about a $35,500 to $36,000 high coming in from late June, actually, of last month, of course. So with all of that in mind, this is all basically a setup for myself into the week to come, at least in the way to look at things. And then, of course, we do have CME closing a lot of higher term timeframes today, obviously daily and weekly. And what do we see right here? We actually already confirmed multiple drives on bullish divergence for the daily, and that we've already kind of got the easy move off that one. But the next targeted region would be on another continuation drive, would be somewhere right around about 34.5 or so. So a lot of things working together with each other right now. And you also do see something that I think deserves a lot of respect right here. You never got the death cross on daily CME, and you very rarely heard me talk about the death cross on spot price action, and that's for this reason. If it's not on CME, I really don't don't like it. I really don't like it. No, it's just signals on CME seem to play out to a much higher degree than signals on spot price action. I have my theories why, but at the end of the day, data is fucking data, and that is what I've seen over the past couple of years now, actually 2 to 3 years now, I suppose. And more importantly with that, we do see the weekly closing today as well. And what is it looking like? This would be a reclaim of the 55 in this case. I don't think it's anything too important other than that. Make no mistake about it, still all time frames pretty much on the higher term time frame side are in a downtrend. So this is still definitely very much risky. But do I think that there's a nice, perhaps a nice extension of this rally, assuming that those conditions are met? Yes, I do think that so. And if you want to be aggressive, we already kind of laid out our, our ideas on that. And then of course, for conservative traders, I would say that, waiting for those higher term time frame closures, which are just coming tonight anyways, is going to be a little bit more applicable. Especially in my case, as I don't really see any any major reason to put on a bigger trade right now when there actually is some decent opportunity in the short-term timeframes, of which we did see a couple of trades kind of show themselves over the past couple days here. So with all that in mind, let's see, is there anything that is also a little bit more obvious on short-term timeframes for CME? Yes, indeed. 4-hour CME very much looks like this is a clean breakout, and we very likely do test up somewhere around about 33.3, maybe perhaps sometime around today. And then would I be looking for a short-term pullback from there? Probably yes, but generally speaking, continuation to that 34.3, 34.4 level that we spoke about earlier, and that can bleed on into next week, of course, making targets higher. So regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish, I do think that this is the time to not necessarily be looking for humongous shorts right here. That was, bears had their chance right here, and now it's time to put in a little bit of a rally and see what we got on the other side. But other than that, again, make no mistake about it, this is still a range bound market as far as I'm concerned. Best case for Bulas is sideways as fuck between this $30,000 and $40,000 range. You could even say $45,000 range until perhaps late August, early September, something like that. And best case for Barros is, short term probably does carry on with the rally, puts in a lower high yet again somewhere in the mid 30s, and then drive it down once again. So with all of that said, let's go check out Bitcoin dominance today. I really want to see how this one's doing, and I imagine it's still going to be an uptrend, but I just want to double check. And yes, what do you know? It is still in an uptrend, of course, but short term very likely does come down here. So this actually is being a little bit of an altcoin led rally. It looks like probably by Ethereum, if I had to guess, as Ethereum does have their big event coming up. Basically. When? I think it's August 4th, so just a couple weeks away now. Let me just look at my calendar right here. We're on the 23rd day of July, so that would be actually less than 2 weeks. In fact, about about 1.5 weeks it looks like, or maybe I'm not calculating that right, but whatever. It's close enough. It's within visual view now. It's less than 2 weeks. Yeah, it's about 10 days actually. Anyways, yes, so, Bitcoin dominance probably does come down a little bit, but keep in mind that this is still an upturn right here, and I'd be looking for a higher low somewhere right around about 45.5%, and then very likely does continue on with the long-term uppity up here. Weekly, still, I'd still look at this as long-term bullish. Monthly, same thing, nice little pivot on price action. Wouldn't necessarily call this a full on reversal here, but over the next few months, I would be looking for this to go north of 50%, which is not going to be the best time for altcoins, of course. And we should also check out traditional markets here too, just because I suspect that strength in traditional markets is probably going to translate well into Bitcoin. And what do you fucking know, baby? What do you fucking know? Holy shit, man. So as we said yesterday, very likely to test around the prior time high. We have it again. I mean, this is just fucking insane, man. We do obviously have the weekly closure coming today. Do we have new all-time highs? We do have new all-time highs. Holy shit. We actually have new all-time highs by about $1.75. In fact, not really bearish when you do something like that. Any sort of a closure today above 14,825, and I'd be looking for new all-time highs to be printed coming into next month as well. Or sorry, probably next month, but what I mean to say is next week actually. And we could, probably come up with a few areas of interest to the upside if I do still have it over here. Next short-term one would be about 15,100, and then the big ones would be in the mid $15,000 region, like 15.4 to 15.5 or so. And then perhaps we do look for tops around there. But goddamn, man, this is the market that never goes down. It looks like the good old healthy medias were going to be beating the drums of the coronavirus once again with the Delta variant, which probably would have produced a little bit of short-term volatility, of which we kind of did see right on over here, but no follow through with that. And assuming that this weekly does close close, just basically anywhere above 14,825, I would be looking very, very strongly for new all-time highs coming into next week. More importantly, with the daily right here, we do see it back in the bullish control zone, back above the exponential, and more importantly, also playing out that hidden bullish divergence as well. All good stuff, and this is all on very, 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 very low volatility. In fact, that reminds me, I forgot to talk about that on Bitcoin on the daily, but it actually is trending back down once again. So well, we'll get to that in a second, but more importantly, if we do see a nice, if we do see a nice expansion phase right here, have to go with the direction of the trend. And in this case, the trend is very much the upside and not in danger of being negated to the downside anytime soon. Anyways, same thing I imagine on SPY as well. This one had a little bit better of a bounce back, but it also got hit a little bit harder on the head. Any sort of a closure today above 43.60, and yes, I would be looking for new all-time highs coming in next week, and that is very likely. Well, I wouldn't say the next portion of that sentence that I was going to say right there, but I would assume that is going to, essentially align at least a little bit of an extension on this rally for Bitcoin as well. So I'd be looking at all major markets right now because they probably are going to trade somewhat similarly to each other. The problem is that Bitcoin just doesn't like to join as much on these upside moves. Obviously, that is, obviously you probably intuitively know that, seeing as Bitcoin didn't really join in on the last, whole 2 months when traditional markets were just, trudging their way up to new all-time highs, while Bitcoin was holding onto the lows and putting in a lot of very scary price action for the blue laws out there. Anyways, going back on to Bitcoin right now, let's go over to the daily, and I just want to document this right here. So looking at the daily BBWP, we actually see it trending back down once again, and this is why I do put a moving average on this, because the moving average never really got big lift off, never really got a positive slope in a more aggressive sense, which kind of lets you know that expansion is coming, and like big expansion is coming. So I do still think that this one's cooking, and we're seeing a relatively similar read to what we saw back on over here in June and July of 2020, actually. So quite literally just 1 year ago. And let me remind you what happened around that region where Bitcoin was essentially trading sideways as fuck, boring as all hell for about 4 months, I believe. Yeah, this is actually very, very similar in a lot of ways. Kind of not. But as far as the consolidation goes, I would say that, although this one was obviously maintaining the uptrend, more importantly, which right now we are quite literally in a downtrend, obviously, as long as about 34,500 or so. But as you can see right here, this consolidation started in about May and then was resolved in July. So May, let me count this out. May, June, July. So about 3 months, 3 full months, it looks like. A lot of very boring price action right here. And I recall around this time, everyone was kind of unsure of what was going to happen because Bitcoin hadn't necessarily bucked the long-term macro trend just yet, and it was baking for a very, 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 very long time. Anyways, you do see this quick one-off right here of the BBWP expanding for a very, very short amount of time, and then what happens? Well, Bitcoin essentially just falls back in, consolidates a little bit longer, and I suspect that that's probably what we're going to see around here as well. Perhaps another half month to a month of consolidation before potential resolution. And in this case, you can see that the resolution, while it did generally get continuation over a long period of time, it wasn't like that explosive continuation immediately as you would expect, except for this about 30% move right here. I think it's about 30% move. Actually, it's more about a 40% move right there. You can see that it did come back down, set in some higher lows. So this is why I do still put a lot of weight on trend, and as long as we are within the confines of a downtrend on the higher term timeframes, I hold a lot of reservations with this price action, notwithstanding a current short-term move to the upside. But I need to see proof, not promises, in order to be once again like full-on macro bullish, talking about targets to 60,000 and beyond and all that good stuff. I'm not saying that it can't happen. It's just as a trader, we need to be fucking realistic, right? Can't just be beating the drums of the moon boys or doom boys at all times. And while that might sound like I'm talking about shit of the boolas right there, you can say the same thing about the bears as well. If you've been holding shorts throughout this whole region right here, you've been in dead money. I mean, you got to be thinking in opportunity costs. And how long did 2018 go on for before the actual eventual breakdown? I mean, it went on for about a year. So, and there were several big rallies within here too. So whether you're bullish or bearish, I still think that this is a trader's market right now. I don't think that this is an investor's market. I do think that this is strongly a trader's market right here. And we're very, very likely getting ready for a short-term upside move. Wouldn't be surprised if we even extend this move all the way up to the 55, assuming that Bitcoin does take out the last little breakdown on the daily right here, which was about 34,250 on a closing basis, 34.5 on like a 4-hour basis, I believe it was. And that would bring us right back up to the median of this range essentially for the last 2.5 months or so. Actually, how long are we going in here now? Yeah, we started in middle of May. We did June. Okay, so that's 1 month, and then July, that's 2 months. Yeah, so a little bit over 2 months now. So I still think that it's got some maturing to do, and we're probably going to be waiting a little bit longer, but regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish, still do see trappy areas well and above, but at the end of the day, I mean, that's so far away right now. I don't think it's worth talking about. But what else do we want to talk about before we move on? Yes, the daily jewel has actually gotten the first the first cyan signature that we've gotten in about a few weeks here. Yeah, about a month actually. The last time that we saw a fresh one was coming in from June 26th in this case. Now, what I want to see next, and especially if you have the jewel, what I keep a keen eye on is how does the autofib support this? Does it turn green? If it starts to turn green while this does stay in cyan mode, then I would be looking at that as a greater bullish signal, very likely to test up to the top side of the range. Do we have that right now? No, but let me give you an insight as to when the last time we even had that possible was, even coming from this area right here. Well, what do you know? It was actually, holy shit, it was actually way the hell back on over here, in fact. Not even from this low of a posturing, but this would go all the way back to, Jesus Christ. Sure, sir, stop with the laughing. Stop it. Anyways, this would come all the way back to about December 2019, which, if you remember, that was before this rally over here, about a 40% rally, I believe. Sorry, make that almost a 50% rally. So, I do think that with volatility in mind, and also, of course, momentum oscillators in the way that they're kind of postured right now, if Bitcoin does want to take a leg up here, it very well can. And these ranges can get, these ranges can get rather generous, honestly. I mean, as a trader, it's rather generous, but as a, as an investor, probably just annoying if I had to guess. Anyways, do we see anything new that's on the 3-day? No, not necessarily, that we already haven't spoken about. What about the 5-day? That is not going to be closing tonight. It's going to be closing tomorrow night. Do we see? Oh yes, that's right. I wanted to talk about the weekly right here. Gaussian channel as well. And what do you see? We do see that it is bouncing off the top side Gaussian channel right now, which is more or less a good thing. It's what you would expect in your more or less bullish markets. But as you can see in your, in the past, anytime that we've even come down and tested the top side of the weekly Gaussian channel, that actually has produced a nice rally, but all of those rallies actually have failed and were the last sort of we're kind of like the last sort of bull attempt before major breakdowns. You can see it right here. You can see it right here. You can see it right here. Actually, no, not right here, but this one's a little bit different. It was kind of tested right after the switch up from red to green. In fact, you do see it right here, to be fair. This was the only one that worked way the fuck back on over here, and that was 2010. So I don't know how much that actually means, seen as this asset's matured a lot since then, in my opinion. Anyways, what else do we want to check out? Yes, the daily. That's right, the daily. So the daily is also right around the bottom side of the Gaussian channel right here. And this also does kind of help produce a little bit of targets a little bit higher, and does kind of align with that move around that just below $36,000 levels. If this is an if statement, if and only if Bitcoin can actually close above the bottom side of this, which is currently coming in where? Currently just above $33,000. So we're right around there. It's a long day left to go, of course, 18 hours, 26 minutes, and 36 seconds left to trade. But if we do actually close above there, I would say that, Bitcoin very likely does make its way back up. Short-term targets would be about 300 or so, and then very likely does test somewhere around the median, which will be coming down, as you can imagine, just kind of visualizing it here, which is not the best way to do it, but very likely just below $36,000. So that would be my general target. Again, if Bitcoin can close above this region right here, remember that will also confirm bullish divergence, multiple drives of bullish divergence on the 2-day and also the 3-day as well. And both of those do have targets actually right around that same region as well. So a lot of things coming into confluence right around there, and that is what I think today is mostly a setup for. Other than that, short-term timeframes, it just looks like continuation right here. I mean, this looks fine. If Bitcoin was going to sell off, I imagine it would have done it right there on that last test, right around 32.8 or so. And instead, we are grounding this area up once again. And technically speaking, if you do want to be a pattern trader, which I am not, I really dislike. It's not that I dislike pattern trading. It's just, I don't think it's like that dependent, at least for myself. But some people do it, and some people are fine with it. This is one of the few and only times I will call out a falling wedge on this channel. I've been doing this channel now for about 3.5 years. The times that I've called out a falling wedge were definitely less than 10, probably less than 5. I despise them for the most part, but this one actually does work out as one. You typically want to see bigger volume on your last potential low. In this case, that would be this area right here, declining before that, of course. And we do see that, well, Bitcoin's actually doing it right now. Holy fucking moly. Do we have a girthy green dildo party? Did we just take out the last high from yesterday? I think we did. Is this consistent amongst other exchanges? I think it is. Yes, indeed it is. We do see it on GDAX as well. 839 versus 825. Yes, indeed, that is confirmed. What about Bitstamp over here. We got a high of 833 spot 33. We got a high over here of, oh no, it's not a new high on Bitstamp. Fuck Bitstamp though. What about Finex over here? We do have 840 versus 850. Nope, we don't have it right there as well. No, they're not agreeing with each other, but we do see on the index right here, it actually does have a new high. So I suspect that this is probably going to follow through. Oh, that's right. We forgot to check our momentum charts over here as well. Let's go see it. And let's go down to the lower term time frame to see what we got going on. Oh, what do you know? 4-hour momentum oscillators manage the upside as long as we are above 32,150 or so. And that is going to be consistent, I believe, below about an hourly as well. 32,640 is the magical number right here. So it is suggesting that if we are going to actually take this area out to the upside, it happens very likely on this drive. Otherwise, Bitcoin very likely does come back down and at the very least test around this prior low. And then if we do take out, like I said, the 31.8 low right here, I'd look for a nice little retest of the lows probably after that. At least another try down around low 30,000 bucks. But keep in mind that this is all, again, a setup for today's daily total closure. And remember that daily Stoke's going to be up here as long as we're closing above 30,000 bucks right now. And then more importantly, with the 2-day and 3-day, which remember do have that bullish divergence potential to be confirmed with any sort of a closure above 32.4, 32.5, I think it was. We will see 2-day Stokes turn up with any sort of a closure basically above 32,000 bucks. So that will be kind of baked in there too. And also rejection of the bearish controls on here too, which is, you know, somewhat important. And then also the 3-day is going to show what? It's going to show 33,150. So we could also kind of extend that statement to say that if Bitcoin does close above 33,150 today, then I would extend targets, you know, to that 34.5 level, and then probably does, you know, play out a little bit of a short-term pullback there with very likely continuation to that just under $36,000 high. And at that point, you know, I'd kind of hold my I'd hold my horses and hold my breath once again because, well, it's not the time to get, you know, overzealous about this market right now. But it does look like short-term, yes, we do have continuation in mind here, and 4-hour kind of leading the charge right now and being a little bit more obvious with the 21 and 55 cross coming relatively soon. In fact, that will be confirmed. Well, it's probably not happening on this next one, but we will get another tick in about 2 hours here, and that'll very likely bring it down, and I imagine very, 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 very close. And if that does happen, I'd feel very, very confident looking for that move towards about 34.5 or so, with potential for more over time. So anyways, with that said, I think it's time to get into the chatties right now. I apologize for being very late today. It's a very late day. Anyways, see what else has got over here. Let me put on the alerts right now. Oh wow, I do have the alerts on. Okay, I guess I just haven't been seeing too many. There we go. Ali says in before Scott Carney. Happy Friday. But what about Scott Barney? Actually, you're in before him as well. Scott Barney says I was debating, but ALYI daily. Should we go check it out? No longer weekly, sir. Is it going to bounce once again? I mean, it's coming. Yeah, it's coming back down. I think that's what we did say yesterday after a short-term, after a short-term rejection right here. I don't think this is too problematic. I think it's going to grind out the lows once again, give you another test right back down around about 3.3 cent or so, and then very likely bounce there again. I don't think that this thing's like breaking down right here. It's going to trade sideways and then probably give another try to the upside. I don't know, in the next like month or two. Oh, and there we go. I think we do have new highs across all exchanges for the last day right there. Holy shit, man! It's that exciting time. Is it true on Finex? Finex might be the most important one right here. 948 high versus, yes, indeed, 850 high. There is no question about that one. And what about Bitstamp? That was the other one that was questionable, which we have 930, which is certainly a higher high right there as well. So not bad as well. Brizzy B says GRR on the ASX iron mining stick. Iron mining, you mean stock. All right. What was it again? GRR. Okay, got it. GRR. Let's see. Grange. Okay, what time frame are we looking at? Daily. Okay, daily is, well, pretty fucking good, man. You don't even need to tell you that this is, okay, wait, hold on. Okay. It's okay. Actually, I'd prefer that we go to a weekly on this one just because it's going to be a little more obvious. Long term, I like it. The reversal is real, and I do think that it will get continuation over a longer period of time. But the reason why I wanted to see this is because we are obviously selling off of, well, I wouldn't say selling off, but rejecting that prior January 2011 high right here. And I would be looking for this to probably try a little bit of downside after that on the daily. Maybe gives another run towards about 73.5. But I do like this chart actually for a more consistent reversal here. Monthly looks very, 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 very powerful. I would not be surprised to see this one trading back around 130 to 140-ish region, or maybe even 1.5 over the next 4 to 6 months or so. This is actually pretty good right here. Very good consolidation above all major movement averages, as it does essentially complete the accumulation phase down here. Even a bit of an inverted head and shoulders as well, which I suspect we probably already hit the measure move on that one anyways. So yeah, I know that I didn't even talk about the time frame that you're really looking at right there, but to kind of wrap it up, long term I actually would be bullish on this one, but short term probably a little bit of sideways and down if I had to guess, just kind of by retesting that area right there. Very likely does give you another chance, and then you get the move. I don't know, maybe like in Q4 this year, if that. Anyways, we got King Cosmic. Hi, SPY, please. 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily. Let's do it, man. Let's go. Let's do it. We already kind of did the daily, but I suspect that the lower term time frames are probably looking a little bit more interesting right here too. Hourly looks like it wants to roll right now. Let's see what momentum also to say. Yeah, hourly RSI is completely fine. I mean, very, very constructive right there. Hourly drew a little bit of a short term consolidation, which we're getting right now. Is this one ready to rock and roll though? That's a real question. That I'm not so positive on. I would really be looking at the weekly closure for this one. Typically speaking, you will get a little bit of a short-term downside move by, right after testing your prior all-time high. In this case, that's going to be 43.80, which you pretty much did in the early morning hours. This is all set up for next week, in my opinion. I would be generally bullish on this one. I'm not so confident on the short-term timeframes right here. If anything, I would be looking for general continuation. I mean, there's no real major things kind of staring me in the face. I mean, maybe we have bearish divergence here. Not really. Yeah, not really. Maybe on the 4 hour, hidden bearish divergence did play out, but that's already played out, and we already have new highs, so that is certainly not playable as of right now. I'd probably be looking for a little bit of sideways in the short term, and then this is going to be very likely a setup for next week. Again, assuming that we do close the weekly, basically anywhere here or higher. I'd even say anywhere above about 43.60 or so. It's going to look very, 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 very good for new all-time highs coming in next week. Do I have targets for that? Nope, because this thing's just fucking doing its own thing. Just get out of its way and let it roll, baby. Just let it fucking roll. All right, let's see what else we got over here. Apodynamic, there he is, man. Love you too, sir. Good night. Oh, you're going to bed. All right, well, fair enough, man. I wish you some good sleepies, an uninterrupted sleep, as only the Lord knows. And dreams about titties, as Elsa said, and some moon boobs in there. But yeah, man, a good night of sleep is probably the best thing for anything, in my opinion. Man, you just don't know how good you can feel with until you get like 8 hours full of sleep. Man, there's something like weird going on in this society. I mean, maybe it's not this society, but it's just I feel like there's a whole sort of movement where it's like we're fucking cool because we don't sleep. It's like, no, man, you get fucking depressed, and you're definitely not operating at your top level when you don't get enough sleep. Like, look, if you're not getting 8 hours consistent sleep a night, I mean, I would strongly suggest just seeing what happens if you do. Like, just for a few nights, just really try, because they really can change a lot. At least that's been my experience, and maybe you might find the same as well. Anyways, what else do we got? Full moon means Krown gets laid, right? Wait, what? It's a full moon? That's right, man. I think it is a full moon coming in tonight. Do we have a bull moon coming in? I think we might. Oh, the moons told me. Here's a real analysis right now. Here's a real analysis. I think we got a bull moon coming up, fellas, and also non-fellas, also non-gender conforming persons or entities out there in the world. Aliens welcome as well, but yeah, we do have a. The moons fucking told me, man. The witches are going to outtrade me once again. Fucking insane, man. Fucking insane. Anyways, actually, so I do want to show this as well. If I put back on our drawing tools right here, this Fibonacci extension still working, time extension still working like hilariously well. Hilariously well. The only one that I'd say did not really have a good result was this one right here. You could argue that it still was, somewhat tradable, but this one right here actually getting a reversal to the upside. So fair enough for right now. Somewhat good, I suppose. All right, cool. Super Googly says, contrary to technical analysis, I've learned some say that when the second low of a double bottom pattern is lower than the first and then breaks the neckline, it is a stronger bottom lane signal. Well, that's by definition not a that's by definition not a what's it called, double bottom. That would be a swing failure pattern. And yes, I would agree that is a very strong reversal signal. 100% agree with that. Contrary to the TA, I've learned. Well, man, I don't know where the fuck you're learning TA, because that is a very, very strong signal. No matter what kind of ideology you come from. Like if you're talking about price action, that would be just reclaiming the range. If you're talking about the way that I look at things, that's just a swing failure pattern or a bear trap right here, kind of one and the same. That would be this action right here. On volume as well for the shorter term timeframes. Yeah, I would agree. It is a good short term reversal signal. Absolutely. Typically going to be a bit of a short squeeze in a lot of cases, or in this case, just shorts closing, which is kind of silly. Okay, cool. Spencer Smith says NSAV. Is this the NSA? The NSAV. See what they got over here. Net savings link. Okay, I'm guessing it's this one right here. And you are looking at a what? No positions held, just speculation. Okay, and no time frames given. I mean, the daily's fine right here. Generally speaking, I'd probably be bullish on this one just by looking at that. Long term, hate it. Absolutely fucking hate it, but wouldn't be surprised to see it test the prior high of this one right here, and then very likely continue on. Next major region to the upside is going to be way the fuck back on over here from like 38.75 or so. I despise trading shit like this, but you do actually see that it does play somewhat technically here. You see that this area was retested good and somewhat, somewhat healthy, I suppose, for an OTC piece of shit. But yes, more or less, I would be looking for this one to very likely continue on with a long-term rally. But I don't know if that's the time frame that you're looking at. I'm looking at it daily. It's fine. Probably does come back down once again to like 2.5 cents or so. But nothing really bearish on this thing as long as it's above. I don't even know what the number is right here. 7/10 of a cent. 7/10 of a cent. Yeah, man. I mean, that really is a penny piece of shit. But fair enough, man. If you're just watching, then well, fair enough, man. Who am I to judge? KT says Ethereum versus Aussie dollar. Okay, we can do that. I'm not sure why. Well, maybe you're trading it versus Aussie dollar. Who the fuck knows? Kind of interesting right here. I mean, we also have a higher low versus US dollar as well, so that's not really saying anything. I'd be looking for general continuation on this rally, somewhere right around about 2,900 Aussie dollars, not real dollars, but shitcoin Aussie dollars. Curious, does it look anything different on this? No, not really. Yeah, I don't really care for looking, and I'm not saying this to like shit on anyone. It's just I don't really care for looking at or just coin versus non-US dollar denominations, mostly because history is not going to be too good on it, and I mean the most liquid pairs are almost always going to be US dollars. I don't know of a single situation where there's a more liquid pair on like non-US dollars or non US dollar equivalent sort of stable coins. But yeah, actually we did have a lower low on spot price action right here. So okay, maybe that kind of helps out the analysis a little bit, but generally speaking, I'd say the same thing on this one as I do on Bitcoin. There's your bear trap right there. Pretty damn clear and obvious signal we're going to run the other way. And in this case, I'd be saying the same thing for US dollar. That would be akin to like just below 2,200 or so. And you also have another good example of a of a bait and switch right here too. See the 21 and the 200. See how they get ever so close with each other. Price action's very far away and then pumps right up into it before they cross. Classic fucking signal when you see something like that. And very likely to run the other way a little bit more. Still would be cognizant of lower highs. I mean, it is operating on lower highs as long as below about 23.20. But for right now, do I think it has more upside? Probably yes. 21.50 and 2200 respectively is where I'd be looking towards. Assuming that 4-hour 200 doesn't reject it from right here, which would be rather nasty, giving us another short-term lower high, perhaps. Another short-term just high in general. Anyways, let's see. Okay, Fox Raymond says, Elsa, my favorite girl with balls. Nice. Finally, TT USDT on Huobi. What the hell is this thing? Thundercore versus Tether. Okay. Looks like shit on the 4-hour. Looks like shit on the daily. Looks like shit on the weekly. It's shit! It's shit, sir. It's a pile of steaming hot garbage, but it is an altcoin, and sometimes these things do get to rally. And I suspect that this thing probably does join in the general short-term rally here too. This one's definitely a laggard. Definitely not relatively strong. This one would be. This one would fit the bill as relatively weak. Short-term, I'd be looking somewhere maybe right around like what is this? 87 tenths of a cent. Is that right? If I'm saying that properly. Breakout above, I would look for like a general breakout above about your 14th of July highs right here and target wherever this breakdown was right here at about, I don't know, 1 or 11, no, 1 spot 1 cent. That is somewhere right around there would be okay. Definitely a laggard though, not the one that I want to be in if Bitcoin actually does get going, because it's probably not going to join as much on the upside and probably going to overperform on the downside of that. But yeah, short term looks like it does want to have a little bit of a short-term upside move and join the party for right now. Nick says, "Hey Krown, what's up, man? Hope all is well. Everything's more or less fine, man. It's a nice Friday. It doesn't matter what fucking day it is, anyways, but it is a nice Friday in general, just to kind of say it. And your question is, can you check out Ethereum USD on the 1-hour, 4-hour, and daily, please? Okay, we kind of already looked at the daily. We can go back to it briefly right here. Generally speaking, I do kind of like the daily for general continuation over the next few days here till about 2140, 2150 short term. Looking at the hourly, what do we see? Bit of a short term rejection right there. So let's come up with a range similar to Bitcoin, 31,800, I believe it was. The same area on Ethereum would be like right below 2000, right about 1985 or so. coming in from this area right here. In fact, I'm going to redo this chart because this is just getting sloppy and it's not really relevant to what we're talking about. All we need to really be aware of is this area right here, or a wick lower than this 1950 tick right there. As long as you're above there, I'd look for it to kind of trade a little bit sideways and then probably give another try to the upside. Relevant regions to the upside short term would be actually 2176, which is even above my daily level, which is rather interesting. What about a 4 hour? Yeah, would actually suggest the same. In fact, we do see this nice breakdown coming in from 11th of July. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put in a nice little blue box of death and decay and see if reaction is around that region. Obviously, the 200 exponential average on the 4 hour going to be get a little bit of short-term profit taking, as you can imagine. But I don't really have anything interesting to say about this other than that. If that's even interesting to begin with, I'd be generally looking for this one to consolidate a little bit more right here and then probably try another leg up, assuming that we do not take out the 1980 low right there. If it is taken out, then no, probably does retest the lows. I don't think that's what's happening, but that would be kind of my line in the sand. I think the 2 days is a little bit more obvious here too. I know you didn't ask for it, but the 2 day does have, or does it have bullish evidence? It should if we have lower lows. Did we close on new lows? This one opened 1807. This one closed 1806. So yeah, actually we do have ever so slightly, lower lows right there. So yeah, short term probably does reach up towards that 2150 or so, with potential for more up to about 2200. But again, short term does have lower highs and does have a downtrend as long as we're below the 2300 lower high right here. Although this is starting to look a lot more like what you would expect on an accumulation low. So fair enough. There are some good things going on right there, but still a lot of work needs to be done. And to be very, very direct, I would not say that that's like looking for a general big move to the upside as long as you're 2320 or so. That's the big level for me. Above there, that thing can actually run quite a fair bit. Wouldn't be surprised to see it make a leg up to like 28 or 2900 if that were to be met. But for right now, just take it one step at a time. It's one step at a time right now in this market. All right, cool. JMB 488 says, B-word event, upcoming Ethereum and Cardano updates in August. Low volatility on daily, hit the 50-week SMA. Bull trap seems likely. Will Ethereum outperform Bitcoin? Well, we can actually look at that in chart format right here. And yes, it would look like so. I mean, Ethereum Bitcoin pairing is clearly putting in a higher low right here. I'd be looking for this one to very likely retest back around this last high at about, sorry, did I say higher? Did I say lower? Okay, what I meant to say is higher low right here. I don't know if I said it. I don't know if I said lower low, but what I meant to say is higher low in this case. Anyways, more importantly, I would be looking for a retest of this region right here. And this again, where is Jack Asiman? Because man, this has been like such an exercise in patience. But I still like this chart, man. It's still a pretty fucking good chart long term. I'm not bearish on this chart. This is a good chart. So do I think that it'll outperform Bitcoin? Yes, this is what this would suggest, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to go up versus US dollar, although things do look like they will right now. But yes, if you're just talking about Ethereum versus Bitcoin, yeah, I do think that Ethereum actually does have upside versus Bitcoin here. At the very least, back around about 6.8 million Satoshis. And then, I mean, this is actually looking like a very healthy consolidation. I mean, if you're looking at this from a pattern perspective, it's some sort of flag out formation. I've had the same sort of thing in here for like a month now and still working here. So yes, I'd be looking for it to bake a little bit longer. I don't know if it's ready as of right now, but things are more or less good. Anyways, let's see. Infinity says, Senor Krown. Hello, Senor. Thank you for your work. Gracias, sir. Any thoughts on SXP? SXP, short and medium term timeframes. Okay, SXP. You didn't give a base pair, so I'm going to go with US dollar here. And you're looking at short and medium term. So to me, that means like a 4 and 12 in this case. Yeah, definitely not participating as much on the upside rallies. Definitely relatively weak, I would say. Short term, 4 hour, I'd be looking for extension of this rally somewhere right around about 162, 163 region. If I'm looking at a 12 hour, would extend that a little bit more. Yeah, you could extend that to like 165. Not too helpful right there, unfortunately. I suspect though that there's some more interesting things on like a daily perhaps. No, there's not actually. It's very likely going to follow the rest of the market, yes, but just not as much. It's definitely relatively weak. I think best case it does short term to the upside is like 174, but very, very short term on like a 4 hour. Yeah, I'd be looking for a move right around here, probably short term pullback after that. And if things want to get crazy, then I'll target that next move. But I'd look for Bitcoin and Ethereum on direction right now. Probably even Ethereum is going to be a better one to look for on direction, but just keep in mind that this thing is very unlikely to follow as much, so to speak. And we do see that this is, it actually is showing some good signals over here, especially on the volume signature. But Probably not the one that I want to be in if the market actually does get going. Just my 2 cents, but yeah, probably does fall, showing a little bit of short-term continuation signals right there, alongside the rest of the market. Mr. Pablo South, bonjour Krown, bonjour mon ami, how you doing, man? Can you look at the Lizard's Facebook hourly and daily? Fuck yeah, man, let's go look at it. I haven't looked at Facebook in a while, man. I used to trade this one religiously, like way back when, man. It was $90 when I traded it. Like, where the fuck, what even was that? It's not even on the chart. It's not even on the chart anymore. Must be all the way back. Oh my god. Okay, it's actually, okay, where is it? Oh yeah, it's 2015 right here. Yeah, that sounds about right. Anyways, you are looking at what? Man, I like that you speak French, because I get all my French practice between you and Crypto Yellow Vest, which is great. Hourly and daily. Okay. Well, the weekly looks fine right there. I know you didn't ask for it. Daily looks really, really good. Very good buyback on this one. I'd be looking for a move back up to about 355. 355? What the fuck? Oh my god, man. Oh my god. Hourly, same thing, man. It's looking good across the board, especially with strength in NASDAQ and SPY right now. To close out the week, I'd probably be looking for this one to retest prior highs at like 355. Probably goes for some new highs next week too, man. Fucking insane. Holy shit. Let's put it on linear scale. That is a hell of a chart. That's even more aggressive than I think Microsoft. God damn, man. Powerful Facebook. Jason Lystrom says, morning Krown. Hey, what's up, man? Can you check out gold daily, please? Yes, let's go. We haven't looked at gold in a little bit. Looks like it's been more or less sideways, so probably warranted in this case. And what do we see on the daily right here? I don't really have an opinion on this, man. This one is a no trade zone for me. There's a couple of obvious areas here. The obvious area would be the last daily high, about 1828, 1829 on a closing basis, and then your last sort of low structure right here, which on a wick basis is going to be like what, 1790 or so above the high. I would be looking for general continuation back around your prior weekly high, which is like just around 1900. Of course, continuation to the downside, I would look for another move down to about 1750 or so, but I'm not necessarily bearish on this chart. Monthly is still fine. It looks like a healthy consolidation to me after breaking your prior all-time high. So long-term actually would be bullish on this, which I'm not a fan of gold, to be honest with you as well, but I think the quarterly kind of speaks for itself. You know, short-term, probably some more sideways. I don't think it's going to do anything too interesting here. Long-term, though, I do think that it very likely will make new all-time highs on this one. I mean, this is fine, at least as far as I'm concerned. No major issues on this one, especially long term, as long as above about 1700. Can very easily come back down, like I said, to 1760, 1750, and I look at that as an opportunity, at least on the first pass. But yeah, short term, probably just sideways, sideways and down, if anything. Short term is what I'd be looking for right here. No major like massive biases on that one, which I know is not that helpful, but I mean, that is what it is, isn't it? Anyways, we got Appetite. Oh no, he's back! Now I can't sleep because Elsa said titties. Nice. There you go. Try xxxtube.com, and there we go. Netflix 4 hour and daily. Thanks, man. No problem. NFX. I've never actually tried to Netflix myself, but let's see. You said 4 hour and daily, I believe. Yes, indeed it was. Okay, 4 hour. Looks like a little bit. Okay, whoa. Yeah, this one does not look like it's joining in with the rest of the rally squad. I know you didn't ask about a weekly, but I do need to see a weekly right here. This actually does look like it's distribution, if anything. Very interesting, man. It seems to me like the stock market is mostly propped up with like 4 or 5 different stocks, and everything else kind of trades sideways. I mean, technically speaking, you would be looking at this as just kind of trading sideways and somewhat of a healthy consolidation and a weekly uptrend. I would generally agree with that, but this is showing signals of distribution right here, especially with this last lower weekly high. I probably would be looking for this one to test down to about 495 before this is all said and done. And technically speaking, we do have a downtrend on the weekly as well to make lower lows right here and a lower high right here. So I would be leaning on long-term, maybe a long-term reversal here, unless the stock market just gets another fucking Jerome Powell stimulus, which it probably does. Looking at the monthly right here, maybe I take that back. It actually does look like we do have higher lows right there, and is more of a healthy consolidation. But to actually directly address what you were asking about, going over the daily, what I say about this. I do think it's generally in a bouncy area, but probably a little bit of a short-term downside move around your last lows first, just below $500 to where I'd be looking for, and then probably bounce around there, somewhere around the weekly 55 if I had to guess, like just below $500. And then I'd probably look for the monthly kind of set the general direction, but the weekly does show some bad signals. The monthly says hold your horses, and I imagine the quarterly is still generally okay. I don't really have a major bias here either. But yeah, it sounds like you're just kind of focused on the short and medium term timeframes in this case. A little bit of sideways, probably a little bit of down, and then I'll be looking for a bounce. I don't think it does anything too interesting right now. I mean, even on the 4-hour right here, it actually 4-hour probably suggests a little bit of a short-term bounce first before testing that downside. Bounce can go as high as like 520, no problem. Anyways, let's see. KT says, hi, Krown. NIC on ASX, nickel mines, Australia. Okay. Okay, and time frames. Do we have one? Daily, weekly, please. All right, nice and easy higher term time frames, even though the 4 hours actually showing a little bit of short-term continuation right there. Same thing on daily, back up to about 119, 120-ish region. Weekly, very good move on the weekly here. I'd be looking for this one to retest the highs over the next like month or two. This is actually a very good read, a very constructive read on weekly RSI, hidden bullish evidence. Plus weekly will going up as well. Not that I really care for it on the weekly, but yeah, man, I'd be looking for this one to kind of just generally fall through up to about 128, 130-ish region over the next few weeks. Maybe it takes like a month or two, but looks okay, man. Phil Moore says, would you buy as a house right now? Would I buy a house right now? I suspect that this is like a theory question. Is it a good idea to buy a house right now? I don't fucking know, man. I'm not a real estate person, and but I can tell you that I did buy a house right now. Probably a bad decision. Probably bought the top of the market, but you know, I'd rather just have like an asset. I'd rather have like an asset like that. But if you're asking about the housing market, I'm not the person to ask about that, man. There are many, pretty much anyone who's done like an hour of studying is more knowledgeable than me. We could look at REITs over here, I guess, if you just want to look at like the stock market. Is this even it? I don't even fucking know. We can just go look at it right here. Well, that doesn't look good. Is that actually it though? I know it's symbol REIT, but which one is it? Is it maybe this one right here? Perhaps yes. I don't know. Well, this one's still a little bit sluggish. They're not really following as much as the rest of the market. But yeah, man, if you're asking my opinion on the housing market, you know, the one thing that I can say about the housing market is that all of the people, okay, I shouldn't say all the people because that's just not a true statement, but in general, a lot of people who I look at as not very knowledgeable and usually bad, and usually have bad takes on things, they're all calling, they're in general mostly calling the top of the, you know, the top of the real estate market, and that it's going to come down and it's going to crash, and we're going to see something like immediately similar to 2008. From this current area right here. Perhaps that's true. Perhaps that is true, but I usually look at those people as counter signals. From the people that I typically look at as like very knowledgeable, they say like if you're, you know, if you're looking like 10 to 20 years down the road, it's not going to change all that much. I mean, realistically, like it depends what time frame you're looking at realistically, but I'd imagine, you know, down the road, like real estate is probably one of the better ones. To be getting into, but again, I'm certainly not educated in that fashion, and there's, I mean, I'm sure if you just type it on YouTube, there's gonna be a million better people than me for that. You know what? One of my guilty pleasures has been recently, man. Oh my fucking god! On the topic of real estate, is tuning into what's his name? Oh my god, what's his fucking name? Dave Ramsey. Yeah, that's his show, Dave Ramsey's show, and listening to people talk about buying houses and stuff. And calling in with like their, you know, their like credit card debt and shit like that, and their housing debt and everything. And it's fucking insane, like the amount of loans and credit that people can get with just basically like very little income. It's like, it's fucking insane, man. Holy shit! If there's ever a reason to be scared about things, like that would be it. It's like, oh my god, man, what the fuck? What kind of? How do you get this much credit if you like? How can you get hundreds of thousands of dollars of credit if you make like, you know, $40,000 or sorry, $40,000 a year? I'm not like trying to poo-poo on anyone. It's just like, well, how is that a good idea? How is that a good idea? I mean, it's going to take you years to pay that back. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Jesus fucking Christ. Anyways, that's a whole different tangent, man. But I really enjoy listening to his show. He has a really good he has a really good way of explaining things and talking. Dan says, can you check out Tilray Daily? Is there bullish divergence forming from March 15th to June 9th? Okay, Tilray Daily. Dates. Is there bullish divergence forming on the daily right here? No, this is a pile of steaming hot garbage, man. Is there bullish divergence forming from? I'm guessing you're looking at this low right here and this low right here. Okay, well, absolutely fucking not, man. No, we have lower lows on RSI. It cannot be by definition. Look, man, this is the real chart. You don't look for reasons to buy a steaming pile of shit like this. And here's the real chart. I mean, this is garbage, man. Don't if there's one thing that this would not be the one thing. This would be one of many things that I wish I got into my brain earlier in my trading career. It would be don't try to pick bottoms. When you pick bottoms, what happens? What is the saying when you pick bottoms? You get your fingers dirty, right? this thing is very likely to continue trending back. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing just spits up the whole fucking rally. This is garbage. This is fucking garbage, man. No, there's not bullish evidence there. In fact, it's quite literally the opposite. You see momentum increasing to the downside on new lows. That's suggesting that we, at the very least, test around these lows again and probably make new lows, if I had to guess, on this run. Let's see, Chinese symbol name, or maybe it's Japanese, I don't know, maybe that's racist, who knows, it's not my intention to be such, but he says, hi sir, hello sir, can you check out AXS UST? Yes, on the 4 hour. This is the Axie thingy, right? Yeah, I think that it is. Holy fuck! Oh my god! Best chart award goes to this one today, for sure. Holy shit, man, powerful. You don't need me to tell you that this thing's bullish. It's in a blue sky breakout, man. It's in price discovery. I don't really have any good ways to derive further targets. The best way that I can do is this right here. We've already kind of hit the 1414, so it probably does have a little bit of a short-term pullback to what is that, 806, 805 region. If it does want to continue, I'd be looking towards the high 30s, somewhere between about 38 and $40. More long-term, maybe over the next like couple weeks. Something like that. But this is certainly the best chart that we've seen today. I'm curious, how would this compare to Hex? Is Hex still doing its thing? Maybe Hex beats it out. Let's see. No, not quite. Yeah, Hex looks like it's taking a little bit of a slumber right there. At best goes sideways for a bit. Maybe does continue on with the long-term rally, but sideways. Whereas Axios is going to be the big boy for now. Axios, man. Whatever the fuck that thing is. Good. Very, very good. Robert says dark pool abuse is trending because over 70% of AMC traded volume today happened through dark pools, not the exchange. Are you able to explain how this works? I mean, it's how it works. I mean, there's basically big OTC deals that can't be done on exchanges because they destroy the market. So they get done off of exchanges and things that are known as dark pools, and that's the way that you can get like humongous amounts of of size traded without like just absolutely destroying the current BBO. But is there anything else to it? Not really. Just people don't understand like that whole shit. And that's why they get up in arms about that dark pool abuse. You have to also understand that those trades, they have to get crossed somewhere too. So it's not like they just fucking go into the ether of everything. No, I mean, it's like they have to fucking find those shares somewhere. Where do you think they find it from? So I think it's another one of those like misnomers that people hear. They think that it sounds really, really bad. They get overzealous about it, but they just don't understand it. Similar to, I don't know, what's another good example for that? I don't have any good examples at the top of my tongue right now, but yeah, man. It's just, that is what it is. It's like next they're gonna find out about high frequency trading and get up in arms about that. And that honestly is something that you probably get a little more up in arms about, even though it barely affects you anyways. It's just in my opinion, it's like, look, if you're gonna play the game, that's the fucking rules. And if you're just finding out about it now, it just means that you're uneducated and that you should have like done a lot more research before making a very bizarre not Instagram, although maybe people are making posts on Instagram, but Twitter posts in that case. I mean, Twitter's just the worst place to get fucking information from, in my opinion. It's the worst place to have a conversation with someone. I mean, how many fights are on Twitter and how much bullshit is on Twitter just because you're limited in the amount of characters that you can use? Like, do you think that a very complicated and nuanced topic can be accurately described in a fucking 240 character tweet? Absolutely fucking not, man. I mean, language is already extremely inconsistent, an extremely bad way of kind of relaying thoughts and ideas. I mean, what is the statistic? It's some like 80 or 90% of our communication is nonverbal, and then Twitter is only is only nonverbal. Okay, did I say that right? 80% of our communication is nonverbal, yeah, and then Twitter is only verbal. I mean, it's not even verbal. It's like you don't even get like the inflections of the words and everything. It's just text, which realistically, like, we aren't really set up to identify that correctly in our brains, I don't think, because, how long have we been speaking to each other and like operating with, even without language? Well, hundreds of thousands of years. How long have we been operating with language, like in the written format? Like, I don't know, not that long. What, like 10, I don't even want to guess because it's probably gonna sound stupid, but I would guess like 10,000 years or something. How long does a written written word go back? Maybe not even that long. I mean, we're just not really set up to handle that right now. I don't think so. Yeah, man. Twitter, bad place. Bad place, but great for entertainment. And I'm definitely addicted myself. So Jesus Christ. Anyway, Spencer Smith says, to prove a point, can I get a dash roast, please? Okay. Well, let's see. Is it roastable first? I'd imagine probably so. I mean, this is a 2015, 2016 shitcoin, I believe. And you want a dash roast? I imagine this is with someone else in mind. Let's see, how far does this chart go back? That's 2017. No, we can definitely do better than that. We need to go to like Poloniex or Bittrex, I imagine. Oh, there it is. Speak of the devil, Poloniex right there. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so here's what your real chart looks like. This is... Okay, so while everything in their mother was given a free ride to go to the moon and beyond in this past rally from like December to May, this thing did not join. And that's a terrible signal, man. It had a little bit of an upside, but it didn't take out the prior highs. The strong ones did. This one didn't even get anywhere fucking close. Didn't even test around the prior major breakdown in your bull trap of February 2018. This thing is worthless. This thing is going to go. This thing is not. It's not going to go to zero because nothing truly goes to zero. It's just going to become irrelevant. I mean, this thing traded up all the way to like $1,500. Now it's $150. I mean, that kind of speaks for itself right now, man. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing come back down below $100. Over the next couple of years. This thing is just completely bullshit. There's nothing long-term good about this when you don't see it join the rest of the market in its rallies. I mean, shit, man. Like, even the shittiest of shitcoins were putting in some pretty impressive rallies. Like, Ripple had a much better chart than this. All things considered, on that past rally from like, I don't know, April to May or whatever it was. This thing barely even joined. I mean, this is not even worth talking about. I mean, fucking hell, man. This is the dead heartbeat of pump and dump right here. It's literally a fucking pump and dump. But whatever. This market's a silly place, funny place. So fair enough. All right, cool. Axie Infinity is an NFT crypto. Cool. Cool. I don't know what to say about that. NFTs, they sound cool. I'm not aware enough to talk about them myself, though. Go to my man, Mr. Elio trades for that. That is his realm right there. But yeah, as far as Dash goes, definitely roastable. One of the worst charts that we've seen today, not because of anything other than the fact that it just does not join on the upside moves. It does not participate as much. So there are several other things better to be in. Of course, it is gonna get its upside moves when the general market goes up, but it will not act on its own. It's just an irrelevant coin, and that's really the worst thing that can happen to a crypto or to any traded asset. It just becomes irrelevant because nothing like truly dies or go to zero. Like, it's a stupid thing to say when people say like, this is going to zero, Bitcoin's going to zero, Ripple's going to zero. It's like, they're not going to go to fucking zero, man, because they're always going to be traded at least in some capacity, being that they are cryptocurrencies and can kind of be traded basically anywhere, I guess. But they become irrelevant. That one is certainly irrelevant, and it is entered into the dead heartbeat phase, it looks like. So yeah, dead money in my opinion. Infinity says, thank you for looking at Swipe for me. Could you take a look at Atom and DIA? How about just one? We'll do Atom right here because this thing has had a more interesting past, if memory serves me properly. Cosmos, and what time frame were you looking at? Daily, weekly. Okay, cool. Okay. They put in a higher low right here, so short term okay, a little bit more reminiscent of I'd say it's kind of just par for the course right now. Weekly, short term, a little bit of resistance right around about 12 and a quarter or so. Daily, again, I don't think this one kind of operates on its own. I mean, this is not my favorite chart, that's for sure, but do I think that we could have a little bit of an upside move, maybe extend this rally to like 1280 or so? Perhaps yes, but you're going to need to see strength in Ethereum or Bitcoin to kind of lead this one, and then I'll be looking for this one. It is relatively weak, I'd say. It's not par for course. It's relatively weak right now. Short term, I didn't ask about it, but anywhere below about $10.50, I'd be looking for this one to go for the full retrace on this rally. Again, you're probably going to see it happen on like Ethereum or Bitcoin first, but that would be the area that I'd be looking for short term on this one. Until that happens, I think that everything can kind of just generally continues here. This one probably up to like 1280 or so. Lower highs as long as you're below about 1420. So great number right there too, but hard to get excited about anything like that. Okay, cool. Let's see. Marcus says, I don't understand why people think debt is bad. Why should you spend your hard-earned money when you can get debt to buy multifamily units and the rent money pays you and your debt off? Okay, so this is actually a really good, a really good counterpoint to what I said earlier, or I guess I don't even know if I really said that earlier, but there's good debt and bad debt, and some good debt can be that if it gives you the option of like cash flow, which is kind of what you're saying. You're basically saying that you're going to use debt to go buy something that will make you money. Yes, I think that is, that would be an example of good debt, or at least if you're like a real estate type of person, you would consider that good debt. For myself, I mean, there's still a lot of risks in something like that. I'm not interested in doing something like that myself. I mean, because you have to fucking manage those properties. What happens if something unforeseen goes on? Like what happens if, I don't know, there's like a natural disaster and the house that you were, betting everything on is now gone and you have to fucking pay off your loan now and you can't make any money from it? What happens if your tenants, if you can't find a tenant? What happens if you find a shitty tenant who comes in your house, trashes it up, and then you have to repair it yourself? What happens if just anything happens to the place and you have to repair it? I mean, those are unforeseen costs that will add up. And so for myself, I'm just not interested in doing that kind of shit. But yeah, I do understand that there are, good forms of debt, of course. Ask Michael Saylor. He would tell you that he has a lot of good debt right now. I think, it's kind of risky too, but it depends on your disposition. I understand that there are forms of good debt, yes. Anyways, okay, cool. All right. Let's see. Where did I leave off right there? All right, there it is. Fillmore says, also, is it possible to learn the market without TA? Yeah, absolutely. Using support and resistance, I mean, that is TA. Trend lines, that is resistance. Or sorry, that is TA. And intuition, that is not TA. That is just trading knowledge. Yeah, absolutely. Like TA encompasses pretty much everything that isn't like quantitative analysis or like analyzing flows or like high frequency trading, shit like that, or arbitrage as well. Then it's probably going to be TA. So is it possible to learn market without TA using support, resistance level, trend lines, and intuition? I mean, literally support and resistance and trend lines are TA. I'd say combine, like you always want to combine something with volatility analysis though. So in that case, what I'd say is like you're always, and that is another technical actually too. For some reason, okay, this has been bothering me a lot recently. For some reason, there are people who have now separated technical analysis in like, I don't know, just like looking at trend lines and shit like that, or like looking at a momentum oscillator from like volatility. They're literally under the same umbrella. Like if you see someone talking like that, they do not know how to operate Google, or they're just trying to sell you something, which is bullshit. Because realistically, I mean, it all falls under the same umbrella there. But yeah, is it possible to learn without TA? Yeah, of course. I mean, you can have various different forms of what's called a edge, which come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes. So like I said, if you're not going to do TA, what can an edge be? I don't know. Maybe you analyze flows. Maybe you do some sort of quantitative analysis. Maybe you do some sort of an arbitrage. You could do that. Yeah, absolutely. You could definitely do that. So yeah. Let's see, what else do we have? Mr. Mean Gun says, any thoughts on XLM USD on the 1 and 4 hour? Let's go check it out. Actually, I think I got Stellar as over here, or do you? So I probably shouldn't have it on my goddamn list, because why the hell? Yes, there it is. Okay, you're looking at the 1 and 4. Okay, yeah, I'm the one with the 1 and 4. Short term, actually, a lot more of an impressive rally than many other things. Wow. This I would have not have guessed this one would have had this good of a rally thus far. I would say that this one's relatively strong in comparison to like Bitcoin right now. I don't say that lightly either. Next relevant region, I'd be looking somewhere right around about 20.5 to 29 cents or so. Got pretty damn close over here. Short term, could we have a pullback on the hourly? I mean, you got higher lows as long as you're above about 25.5. I'd say this is kind of where I would switch around to short-term bearish again. So it's kind of a big area right there. But overall, I mean, it looks like it probably has one more stab up and then a little bit of sideways consolidation. I know you didn't ask about the daily, but I'm just curious to see. Yeah, the daily is in a completely different posturing than most other charts right now, at least that we've looked at. I would be looking for a pullback after about 28.5 to 29 cents or so. We got pretty fucking close there already. 27.7 it looks like thus far, but maybe one more pop, and then I'd be looking for sideways, and then maybe continues on. But I'd want to see it consistent with the rest of the market too. We also do see a very good Jules signal right here too. I mean, this would be considered a pretty much a perfect signal. We got autofib, we got everything aligned, and we got the cyan leading the party on volatility expansion as well. There's going to be sideways consolidations within that, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing make a leg up. Yeah, pretty good, all things considered, and very surprised to see that one on that one too. Okay, cool. Crypto Jesus, hello Jesus, good to meet you. Hi Krown, I saw an old video from your archive, and I'm wondering if you consider Bitcoin to have a dramatic diminished returns. If this is the top, would this be the beginning of the real bear market? Okay, if this is the top, so we're making an assumption here. Would this be the beginning of a real bear market? Well, as you said, diminishing returns are to be expected in an asset that matures over time, like for obvious reasons, which I suspect most people probably know or everyone knows. But I think you have two questions going on there. So would this be considered diminishing returns? Yeah, absolutely. And I think that we have obviously been seeing diminishing returns over the last 12 years. I mean, they're still pretty fucking amazing returns, but yeah, to put it bluntly, yeah, I mean, you would expect diminished returns over a longer period of time, market cycle to market cycle, that is. Then your next question is, if this is the top, so that's the assumption. I'm not saying that it is the top or it's not the top, but if this is the top, would this be the beginning of a real bear market? I mean, define a real bear market. So as you can see, if we're going over here to a monthly, we've never actually seen a real monthly downtrend, have we? Has there ever been a downtrend on Bitcoin monthly? No. So it depends what you define as a real bear trend. Now, I define it in Bitcoin land as a weekly downtrend. And so would we enter into a bear market? Yes. But as you can see, if we go over here to a monthly, I mean, it's not the same thing. So it depends how you define it. But I define it as a weekly in that case. So would that be the beginning of a real bear market? I mean, I feel like you're probably talking about a monthly downtrend, at which case we'd be trending down for like years and years on end and actually make like a downtrend on the monthly, which is not going to happen anytime soon, because where's your last high or low on the monthly? Literally all the way at $6,300. So I mean, it's just a little bit too far away from me. And then that would just be your first lower low, right? At that point you got to be looking like down around here below $1,000 after that. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable saying, I don't know if I can't say that on a monthly right now, because the monthly is not in a fucking downtrend here. It's very far away from being in a downtrend, but that also means we can have humongous ranges, which is why we like Bitcoin. But yeah, to answer your question, in the way that I define bear markets for Bitcoin specifically, I'd say yes, because we do have a weekly downtrend. Okay, cool. Okay, let's see. Infinity says SNDL stonk. Sure. Sundial growers on NASDAQ. Interesting chart here. Here's a real chart. Yeah, that's what I expected. Okay, and you're looking at it's a steaming piece of crap. I have 125 cost basis and thinking of waiting to see if I can get out before year's over. Okay, so you are down big. You got in like serious losses. Okay, 40% loss. Just as a general rule, like one of the general rules that I've learned in the past, like if you're going to be like an investor, if you lose more than 20% of your trade, like you don't just get out, you stop. You stop completely. You can't lose 20% of your equity, although it doesn't sound like this is your whole fucking equity, but different conversation. Anyways, okay, the question is, okay, and waiting to see if I can get out before year's over. Well, okay, I know you didn't ask about this, but look, man, like if you're going to get in at 125 right here, you're basically like buying the rejection. You have to have a fucking plan as to when and why you get out. So in this case right here, it's like, all right, if I miss that, where's the next area that kind of makes sense if I'm going to actually fucking play this position, which I don't want to fucking play to begin with. I mean, this is, in my opinion, a garbage position. But where would I play my position? I'd say, all right, look, I'm already holding this piece of shit, and I was put in this position. Like I didn't choose this myself. But what I would do right here is I'd say, hey, I suppose you can give the weekly the benefit of the doubt as long as we do remain above the last weekly high or low, which is 70 cents. You take that out to the downside, it's only going to get much worse. And I mean, admittedly, that's, this is not even comfortable to begin with right now. I mean, that would be like another 15.5% loss. It's like, this is a bad way to do things. Very bad way to do things. But until that happens, technically speaking, I guess you can play the position. If I was just transporting your body at this point, and I didn't choose to do it before, and I had to make the best out of it, I'd probably do that. And just kind of let it go as it is. But I'd have a hard stop, right around the weekly right around that weekly closure, and I need to see it close on new lows specifically, because you probably do get a wick down there. It looks like it even wants to test that sooner rather than later. I mean, this is coming down right now. It's going to give you that test. So it's like the daily's already in a downtrend. Anyways, I don't know. Do you want to hold on for another 15.5%? I really dislike this kind of shit. I really dislike this kind of shit. I mean, I think it's probably going to break down, but I suppose I'd play the position just because it's like I'd just write that fucking money off, man. It's bad. I'm not a big fan of it, but I guess you can play the weekly trend if you're really inclined. The problem is the monthly does not have the same trend, so you are trading obtuse to this. It's not a good way to be going about things, but I suppose I don't know how much equity it is for you, but it does sound like you're more long-term minded, and maybe that's just not a consideration for you. So perhaps you do play in that case. It just means that if it goes wrong against you, it's gonna cost you even more, another 15 to 20%, I imagine, because who knows what price you actually get out at. Paranoid says, "Hey, what's up, man? Have a great weekend as well. Link versus New York cheat sheet, please." Oh shit. Okay, let's go check this one out, man. By the way, how you doing, man? You've been getting in some good rounds in Chivalry recently, because they just came out with a new update, I believe. Actually stopped playing for a few days there because no update. But okay, oh my god, this really does look like the Wall Street's cheat sheet cycle. So let me bring this. Okay, yeah, here we go. Here it is. This is so nasty, man. This is so nasty. Okay, so here's what we're looking at right here, right? Basically, this is almost a one-to-one representation, which is kind of hilarious. You had your euphoria, you had your complacency bounce. Here's your complacency bounce right here, obviously, or actually, I mean, Jesus Christ, your complacency might have been all the way over here. In fact, go back to it right here. Anxiety, denial, panic. We are in panic right now, I believe. But has this one gone for the full retrace of the whole damn rally? Pretty much. I don't know how much lower this one really has to go if the rest of the market wants to pick it up. But I think max it does to the downside is like $9.5, $10. Yeah, it can definitely get worse a little bit, but you've pretty much seen most of it. You might be in denial right here, though. And in fact, is this denial or is this complacency? This would be complacency right here. Yeah, this is probably denial right now. Yeah, probably still just have low to go. Not good, man. Not fucking good. But if the rest of the market rallies, this thing can have a free write-up as well. That is, oh my god, man, that is so fucking close. Holy shit. Let's see now where. Okay, complacency would be where. I do think that this was complacency right here. Actually, this was complacency right around $40. And you should be complacent right there too. I mean, it did still have the long-term weekly uptrend. After that, yeah, maybe we are a little bit more advanced in this than what I did consider. We're either in denial or anger at this point. Denial or anger. I'm not so sure. I think it could equally be either, and you're just gonna have an easier time looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum right now and see what direction that they choose. Okay, cool. CG3 says OHM DAI, 15% APY, money printer going burr, sir. OHM. Okay, so this is the Olympus thingy token. Yep, there it is. I see it on Sushi Swap, and very good, very fucking good. Very, 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 very good. I'd be looking for a general continuation of $700. I believe that's what we said yesterday, and I'd be sticking with that today too. Extremely good chart on the weekly. Well, I don't know if I'd say extremely good chart, but good enough for continuation here. $700 where I'd be looking towards, probably a small pullback there, and then reassess after that. If things really get crazy, maybe all the way up to like 850, 870-ish region. But for right now, generally speaking, I'd be looking for continuation. It looks very, very good compared to most other things that we've seen. What is this thing? Why does it have such a different chart than most things? That is my question. Okay, back onto it over here. Let's see what else we got. John Dye says ASAN on the daily weekly, please. Okay, cool. Let's see. Okay, Asana, good on the daily. Let's see. Let's pull. Oh yeah, very good on the weekly. Yeah, this thing. I'd be looking for no time highs, assuming any sort of a closure today above $70. This is very good. There's not a whole hell of a lot of history here. I don't have any targets to give you. This is kind of in no man's land right now, but I don't see any bearish divergence on the daily just yet. I'd be looking for this one to go for another run on this rally and then probably put in some bearish divergence on the daily. But for right now, playing out hidden bullish divergence already at your prior all-time highs, I mean, that's going to be generally good. I don't know how much more this one has to go, but I'd be looking for probably new all-time highs first before anything else. Maybe we can do something like this and come up with some general areas of interest to the upside. Yeah, somewhere around like upper 70s to $80 where I'd be looking towards, and then probably pull back there, maybe a top. But I just let that thing go, man. It's good. One of the better stocks, one of the better charts that we've seen today. J3F says UWMC 4-hour daily. Okay, UWMC, this thingy. Okay, all right. Let's see what we got. I think I'm going to end this stream soon enough too. My voice starting to kind of crack a bit, and I need to go clean out my own bowels. Looks like it's kind of putting in a low right here, but wow, this is a sloppy as hell chart. What the fuck is going on in this one? Okay, now what? We're looking at 4-hour and daily. All right, short term, a little bit of downside. I'd probably be looking for it to grind out the lows once again, but I don't think this one creates new lows, or at least if it does, it's very unlikely to create like massively new lows. I think it's going to put in a rally region. Short term, a little bit of downside, 740, 750 or so, and then probably does try another attempt to the upside after that. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing make a leg up towards like 8.25 over the next few weeks here. Not a humongous fan of this chart, but it's okay. Okay, you look like you just stepped out of Back to the Future. Wow, that is a new and very creative joke. Oh yeah, let's look at Coinbase. Yeah, very, very good idea, Sinegra. Let's see what Coinbase is looking like right now. That would be really pertinent thing to do today. Did kind of cough up the rally from yesterday, which is not the best thing, but I look at this as a gap fill first and foremost. Would I be looking for continuation to the downside after that? Probably does have one more. Actually, this is a little bit concerning right here. Coinbase already rejected the rally. Maybe we'll look at GBDC as well. How's the weekly going to shape up? Not fucking good. Not fucking good, man. I don't have any major. I mean, if anything, I'd be looking for short-term down. I'd be looking for short-term down back down below 220, somewhere between 220 and 218. I don't know how this relates to Bitcoin specifically, just because they don't seem to play like immediately well with each other. But I mean, that would obviously suggest that we do get rejected on this rally right here. We come back down below 30,000 or somewhere around 30,000. Let's see what GBDC. Here's how this one's operating. GBDC completely different. GBDC looks like it wants to extend the rally up to about 28, maybe all the way to 28.5. See how it looks on the daily. Yeah, not a great chart on the daily, but does have some short-term upside. Yes, bullish divergence on the daily as well. So okay for short term. Probably weekly trades back up to like almost $30 over the next week or two. Yeah, I'd probably put a little more faith in GBDC over Coinbase, but Coinbase does look like it wants to play another short-term downside move. Probably tries another bounce from there. After that, I don't fucking. Okay, sweet. I think we are good to go. Elsa's got some watermelons right there. Krown will short the bidet. It's coming, baby. It is coming. The big juicy melons. Love it, man. We can look at Cardano's Storm. Why not, man? We can do some Cardano. It's always a popular one, and then we'll call it a day after that. Where's my Derpanios? Here. Where are they actually? I know they're around here somewhere. There it is. Found you. 119, 120ish region. Very good wick on the weekly thus far. We still got these rising wicks on the weekly, which is a generally decent sign. Short term, I'd probably be looking for a move towards almost 1.25, 124.5 or so. 4-hour, same sort of levels as Bitcoin. As long as it's above this level right here, 115 or so, I'd generally favor the short term upside. Try again. It is getting a little bit more extended in the short-term timeframes, but I do think it's probably got one more leg up, and then we'll kind of see. Easier to watch Bitcoin and Ethereum right now too. But yeah, below there, what was it, 115.5? Yeah, about 115.5. I'd be looking for a retest of lows and maybe new trending lows. And if Coinbase has anything to say about it, Coinbase says more down. But we can go back over to Bitcoin now and just quickly wrap this one up. A little bit of a short-term rejection right here. I mean, we did kind of hit the top side of our area once again. There it is, perfectly done. Which is to be expected. A little bit of profit taking going on. I'd be looking for some short-term sideways here. However, I would generally be short-term, I suppose, looking for extension of this rally as long as we remain above about 31.8, 31.9 region. Below there, I would look for at the very least another retest of about $31,000, and then probably does probably does cup up the rally after that. That would not look too damn good, especially if we close 4-hour dildos below, let's call it 31.5 or so. Anyways, until that happens though, this is really all a setup on the daily, 2-day, and 3-day for myself, and also the weekly closure for CME, of which if we do close basically anywhere above 32.4 to 32.5, we will confirm bullish evidence, multiple drives of bullish evidence on the 2-day and 3-day, and that would make me biased towards looking for a general continuation to the upside. 34.5 would be the next general target, and then very likely extension towards about 30, just under 36,000 bucks, with potential for more long term. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for today. And if we get that, then yes, I would be happy looking for essentially a continuation to those targets. Probably maybe not over the weekend, but very likely early next week. Anyways, with that said, it's been an absolute pleasure. I want to wish everyone the best of the best once again. Take care, and I salute you, and hopefully see you soon.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, fix or pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, bend it, fork it, hype it, dump it, rinse, repeat, but quick relocate. Pause it, list it, send it, burn it, pump it, hack it, quick rename it, take it, take it, lend it, send it, swell it, sell it, click, unclick it, see it, watch it, learn it, know it, post it, tweet it,